been an all-star a number of years. So what we're going to do here is play a way too early edition of
Roll your boat?
Is that what you want to call the segment?
Roll your boat.
Because we're going to pick one or the other. I have a group of players that I think that are worthy of being an all-star this season, but we're going to go to you. You're going to play the judge, jury, executioner.
Okay, just based on the 1 quarter of the season.
So far, that's why it's the way too early All-Star edition. So tonight we're going to see Tobias Harris. They're taking on the San Antonio Spurs. When
Tobias Harris, All-Star.
Is you're just going to
All-Star.
Run through it that quick like that?
All-Star.
All right, Tobias Harris marked down for an All-Star.
All-Star.
Tobias Harris, of course, top 4 seed in the West. Why is he an All-Star in your eyes?
21 points, 50%. The Clippers, right now, a team that no one thought would have a chance to be in it. They're the number 4 seed, been floating around with the number 1 seed. He's the best player on that team. He's the most consistent player on that team, and he's the guy that you have to defend at times and double team. You have to double team him. Any guy who draws double team is going to be worthy of all-star consideration. But his play, without question.
So right now you're looking at a team that is sitting 1 game out of first place in the West. Moving on, Mike Conley Jr. has never been an all-star, but has put up consistent all-star numbers over his career.
All-star.
So why is he an all-star? In a Western Conference that's generally loaded in the backcourt position.
Yeah, but guys have been hurt. Chris Paul, probably would also be in that consideration, but being the 14th seed kind of moves him down a little bit because of that, because I think it's those guys are right there, and him getting his team where it is. When he was hurt last year, we saw what they were, and we see him this year with him, and we see what they are. Mike Conley's stamp, sealed to delivered.
So that means, does that mean Klay Thompson doesn't make it?
Oh, Klay Thompson's all-star. What are you?
So let's count them out. You have Russell Westbrook, you have Steph Curry, you have Dame Lillard, you have, I just mentioned Klay Thompson, you have James Harden. That's 5 so far in the backcourt.
We're talking about a wild card, but you have 2 wild cards. So the wild card, this league is not a big man's league anymore. So your wild cards are particularly going to be guards, especially in the West.
Okay, well played right there. We're going to keep this thing moving. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. Ben Simmons right now is having a pretty decent season. His Sixers are in contention in the Eastern Conference. You see the numbers. NBA home record, best in the league, 12-2. So does Ben Simmons make the All-Star team? Is he in or out?
On the bubble, but I would say yes, he and Butler. I would say both of them.
Well, Butler's already been an All-Star. We just want to focus on guys that haven't been All-Stars so far.
This will be. It's tight because Butler.
What is your argument against him being an All-Star?
Not against it. It's just that Butler's taken a lot of the responsibility, and they haven't really separated themselves yet. And so if they separate themselves in the next, 2 weeks, I think it confirms the fact that they should have 3 guys on the All-Star team. But I think Ben Simmons is an All-Star, and I think he's an All-Star.
So he is on the bubble, or is he definitely?
He's on the bubble with a pin. He can pop it himself. He's right there.
So we're going to stay in the Eastern Conference. Zach LaVine, Chicago Bulls.
Not enough wins.
Not enough wins?
Just for me, he's a great player. He's an all-star caliber player. Just for me, winning should trump, statistics.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense right now.
When you're the worst team in the Eastern Conference, you're the worst team in the Eastern Conference, I don't think you deserve an all-star.
Even if he's up to scoring average, I mean,
you're the worst team in basketball in your conference. There's no other team that has a worse record other than the Phoenix Suns in basketball. There's only one other team in basketball. So you can't, my high school coach who said this, and this may not be Zach LaVine, is 2 things. On every losing team, there's a 17-point scorer. Every team. There's no team in the NBA that doesn't have a 17-point scorer. And I used to call them, what I call them, looters in a riot. Is he a looter in a riot? Or he's a guy who's getting it when it counts? Because when it's a riot and everybody's running around just grabbing stuff, when you're losing, anybody could do that. He's a talented player, but wins trump statistics for me. You can't be that far down in winning.
So staying in the Eastern Conference, we're going to go to some bigs. Nikola Vucevic for the Orlando Magic right now. They're in the
Now, let me take that back, too. If he was winning, if he has...
If he meaning Zach?
Yeah, Zach. If he had 12 wins, He's got 6. If he had 12 wins, I'm like, he's an all-star.
Okay, so does that make Vucevic?
Vucevic is an all-star.
He's definitely an all-star.
He's an all-star because he's in that race, and he's going to have his team possibly in the playoffs.
Now they have a losing record, although that they're in the
playoffs. But 12 wins, and that was my number, and I'm looking at them now, and they're 12 and 15. I just think that his numbers, along with, and he's been doing this over years and years. This is not his first year getting 20 points and 10 rebounds. This is something that he does on a regular. Vucevic is an all-star in my estimation.
Another Nikola, Western Conference, the Joker, a.k.a. Nikola Jokic. Denver's right now sitting at the top of the Western Conference. They've been arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Western Conference record-wise. He's the clear leader of the team, 2 triple-doubles so far this season. The numbers speak for themselves. The unquestioned leader of this squad. They go as he goes.
I don't know if they go as he goes, but they go better when he goes. They have a talented team. Harris is really a great young guard who got hurt. They have a lot of pieces. Millsap.
Who's not hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they go as he goes, but they go better when he goes, so he becomes the all-star.
So you had this big thing on winning earlier, which I definitely agree with. But if you have a team that's sitting in the top 3, arguably, you don't think they're going to have one player represented in the All-Star game?
No, I'm not saying that they didn't. There's been teams that had this happen to because there are multiple guys who are vying their way. 17 points isn't all-star numbers, but but wins trump all of that.
True.
We think about the old Atlanta Hawk team when Budenholzer was here about 4 years ago, when they had 4 all-stars, and those guys were all averaging around, anywhere between 16 to 19 points a game. We could see some of that with the Denver Nuggets, and possibly, I think Harris, if he didn't get hurt or it comes back, or I'm not sure what's the status, he could have been an all-star on this team as well.
That'd be interesting. There's a lot of guards you have on your all